lecture right now. Sivateja, can you unmute and talk to me? Sivateja?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Sivateja. I'm going to record this session. The session is getting recorded.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Did you receive any message
Okay,
there
sir.
in your end?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. So now I'm going
Okay,
to project the slides. Anyway, some of your friends can join and they can also get benefited. Okay, I think I'm seeing around 18 students have joined the session. Okay, so this one important point I would like to make it very clear is this is more kind of a review session. Okay, a review session means you have learned around 4 units under the subject process control. Now you are in the process of reviewing it. Okay, talking to you, I'm going to present the slides. Okay, now if you see the slides, just inform me. Just send a message. I'm sharing my slides. Okay, check whether you are seeing my slides or not. Are you seeing my slides? Okay. Okay, I now start the proceedings. Okay, so this is the first unit review. So in the first unit, I hope you can recall what you have learned in the first unit. I hope, can you recall? I expect Susindran. Okay, Susindran is there. Susindran, can you recall what you have learned in the first unit? Just unmute and talk. I'm seeing my student Venkatraman also. Venkatraman, can you hear me? Unmute and talk, Venkatraman. Unmute. There is an unmute button is there. You just unmute and then talk to me, Venkatraman. Venkatraman, can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, sir.
Venkatraman, can you just summarize what we have learned in the first unit of process control subject?
First unit.
Yeah. So we learned something like mathematical modeling. I hope you can recall that. Okay. So transfer function models. Yeah. Then
interactive system, non-interacting system.
Excellent, Venkatraman. Yeah. Come up.
First order,
what else
second
you
order.
learned? First order, second order. Yeah. 1 minute. You please mute Venkatraman. Sai Vinay, can you recall what we have learned in the first unit? Sai Vinay, just unmute and talk. I'm seeing Sai Vinay. Kamali is there. Kamali, can you unmute and talk what you have learned in the first unit? Kamali, can you summarize what we have learned in the first unit? Whoever is willing, please unmute and talk. Whoever is willing, please unmute and talk. Who is going to talk? Anand Karthik, I'm seeing Anand Karthik there. Can you talk? Just unmute and tell me what you have learned in the first unit.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Please.
Yes, sir. I totally forgot what I learned.
Okay, you forgot. Okay. So we'll go back and review that. For that only this session. Okay. So that's why I just wanted to see where you were standing. Okay. So this kind of a feedback will help us to concentrate. Now, which areas we need to concentrate. That's why I'm posing these questions to you. Okay, Anand.
Okay.
Now let us go back, and I'm now sharing my slides with you. Now you can see the slides. Okay, this is unit number 1, process control review session. Can you see the slides now? Anybody, please come on.
No, sir.
Can you see the slides now? Venkatraman, can you see the slides? Okay, let's proceed. What about Vinay? Are you seeing my slides?
Good.
Vinay?
No, sir. I'm not able to see. No, sir.
You are not seeing my slides? I'm just sharing my slides. This slide is shared. Now again I'm sharing.
Sir, where to see the slides?
I am presenting my slides to you. Okay. Share. I'm giving share. Now, sir,
Sir,
can
it's
you
not
see?
visible, sir.
Now it's visible. Right.
Ah, yes, sir. It's visible. It's visible,
Yeah,
sir.
very good. Yeah. I'll tell now. So now we'll another 20 minutes. I'll be giving a short review of what we have learned in the first unit. Those guys who are having difficulty in the first unit, please pose the relevant questions. Okay, in understanding. So the first unit comprises of these are all the topics we learned. I hope you can recall. Okay. So we initially we introduced the topic of control systems, followed by the need for control. Okay, why do we need to control a particular system? What are all the control objectives and benefits of it? Then how do we mathematically model, okay, and analyze the process control system? And
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Hello.
Yeah, Venkatraman.
Sir, where to see the slide, sir?
Where to see the slide, sir?
Slides will be projected automatically. It will be there, and you are. I have shared that. Okay.
No, sir, it's not visible, sir.
It's not visible, sir, now.
Okay. Now it is not visible. Okay. Now I am sharing. Look at this. I am sharing my screen with you. Okay. I am sharing it. Now I am sharing so that you can see it. Is it all right? Can you see it now?
Sir, it's showing Dr. K. Kumar is presenting. Dr. Kumar is presenting, but it's not showing anything else, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you need to go and select the share screen of that slide. Only then that will be shared. You're just sharing your Google Chrome.
Okay.
You have to go to that. So this whole it's a bit confusing, sir. My mic is on. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So as of now, you have options, right, sir, to select which screen to share.
Okay.
Do you have options there?
No, my entire screen I am sharing it with you right now.
Yeah. Okay. When you do that, what is happening is we're only seeing the Google Chrome page.
Okay. Now I think you can see.
Sir, I can see only
now can you see it? Now can you see it? My entire screen?
Yeah, we can see
I can see only your face.
Yeah, this is process control unit 1 review. Can you see? Slide?
No, sir, I can see only your face. Your face.
Okay. One minute. I'll make it clear. Now. Yeah, 1 minute. It's coming on. Wait a minute. Okay. You are presenting. Okay.
Google Chrome, sir.
Yeah, coming. Stop presenting. Okay, I'm going back. Yeah, window. I'm saying. Okay, now it's coming. Yeah, now it's shared. Yeah, now can you see it clearly?
Wait, sir. It's loading. Yes, sir. Now it's.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Yes,
so now
sir.
let us proceed. Okay. So now this is the first unit portions. In the first unit, in fact, you'll be learning about introduction to control systems, the control objectives and benefits. I hope you can recall the various modeling aspects. Okay, the physical examples of process systems. One of the systems that we have learned, in fact, which you will not forget, is the thermometer. Okay, a mercury thermometer, followed by the dynamic behavior of typical process systems for various forcing functions. So in the initial stage, in fact, we designed the mathematical model of a given system. And can you recall, okay, some of the various principles or the mathematical principles we employed in building the mathematical models? I hope you can recall some of the principles like.
So we used the energy balance equation.
That's good.
And then.
And then.
I'm thinking, sir.
Yeah, mass balance equations.
Mass balance.
Energy balance, mass balance equations. Okay,
Yes,
if it's a energy intensive process, we employed energy balance equation. If it is mass based systems like a liquid tank level system and all, we employed mass balance equations. Okay, so then we arrived at a particular differential equation. I hope you can recall that. Mostly we learned only two different kinds of differential equation. Number one is the first order differential equation. Number two is the second order differential equation. We didn't learn anything more than that. Okay, so a first order differential equations, we learned thermometer and single tank systems. And for second order differential equations, we learned something like a two tank connected in cascade mode. Okay, so that's what we learned. So then we also studied something related to how to study the behavior or the response of the systems for a given input signals. So that we in fact we learned. So with that in mind, let us now move ahead and try to understand some of the basic concepts, like starting from what is the feedback system. So if you look at this particular slide, we can clearly understand a person who is driving a vehicle, in fact, is indirectly applying the basic feedback control mechanism. Okay, so his eyes is more like a sensing element, and he's understanding where he is exactly located. Okay, based on that, he's in his mind, his brain is more like a controller now. It's taking some appropriate decisions based on whatever goals or whatever set points he's trying to follow or whatever trajectory he's trying to track. He will take the appropriate corrective actions with his application of the brain, and then the brain is more like a control calculation. You agree? Brain is more like a control calculations can be performed with the brain, and it's more like a controller. And the sensing part is the eyes, and the final control element is going to be the steering wheel, or otherwise even you can say the accelerator pedal can also be called as a final control element. Okay, if you are looking for a velocity-based control mechanism, okay, you want to control the speed of the vehicle, the accelerator pedal can also be the final control element. In this case, if you want to move right or left, okay, you can change the steering wheel, rotate the steering wheel accordingly, and you can take appropriate control actions based on the requirements. So it's basically a basic feedback control mechanisms employs a sensor, okay, powerfully. So a sensing element is so vital here, and with the help of the sensing element only, we are going to take appropriate control actions. Okay, so that's what we learned. So if you think about the system, a feedback control system, you can very well always you can just mathematically put it in the form of a block diagrammic representation. Okay, most of you already have a feedback control course you have studied in the last semester also. So most of you are quite familiar with this particular closed loop feedback control mechanism, wherein you have a process and there will be a measurement point. In this case, the process, for example, it may be a cruise car, and you are measuring the velocity of it. Okay, then with the help of a control mechanism, you will be accelerating, or you will be deaccelerating, or you will be applying the brake. So the final control element or something over which by using that final control element, you are going to bring about a change in the process. Okay, so you are going to influence the present status of the process with the help of the final control element, and the controlled variable is key. So one thing I would like to say here for most of you who are going to review the entire subject again, try to concentrate on some basic feedback closed loop diagrams. Okay, you can just type in Google closed loop case studies or examples. You will get a lot of examples. Okay, real life examples. It may be cruise car, or it may be a flight mechanism, or it may be a satellite control, or it may be a very simple the heater mechanisms. Okay, heater mechanisms, or simple heat exchanger systems. You can see a lot of examples in the Google. If you type in Google, you get a lot of examples. Be familiarize yourself, okay, with the various kinds of variables I'm talking about here. Like if I'm going to ask you, what is a controlled variable? What is a manipulated variable?
Sir, it seems some people are unable to join the session.
1 minute. I'll do it. Totally, there are 55 guys, 56, they are joining. Still joining. Darshana has left the meeting. Hey, ask her to join again. I think most of you are there. Most 56 guys are there. Chat.
So for some people, that invite link is not working. That's the problem. It seems for them.
They need to come to this classroom. Okay, this classroom I have already shared.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Classroom,
I will share that same link in the group.
In this classroom, if they just have to simply click that ID, what link I have given. Okay, they simply have to.
I'll share that link to them.
Yeah, please share
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, that's not the problem, sir. They are using their normal mail ID in Meet. They have to use Shastra mail.
That is not allowed. That is not allowed. They need to come to the Shastra mail and they enter my class. Okay, this class already I have given third year B. Yeah, third year B section.
For Praveen also the same problem persisted. So just now he sorted that out. So
very good.
Tell them to use Shastra.
You guys are getting keen to this online mode. Very good, very good. I'm very happy. But what about what about my audibility and all? It's clear to you all?
Yes, sir, it's clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, the voice
Perfectly
is clear.
audible.
Okay, fine. In between, you have any doubts? Okay, you can stop me and you can raise your doubt. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So that you'll be in tune with whatever I'm trying to convey to you. At the end of the day, learning is important. So whatever I want to convey, I want to convey. So you should be in a position to give me the required feedback. Otherwise, the control systems will not work. Okay. So required feedback is essential. So don't, unless you have a genuine doubt, don't interrupt. If you have doubt, please interrupt. Okay. Now, can you see the slides? Now, are you in a position to see the slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now you can see the various definitions that we have learned, okay, for controlled variable. For example, if somebody is asking you, what do you mean by disturbances in a system? Can anybody answer? Don't look at the definition there in the slide. Can you give your own answer? What do you mean, what do you understand by the term disturbances?
So anything that's hindering the process, or not necessarily a process, anything that's hindering any flow of movement, that's
Yeah,
a disturbance.
That's right. For example, you are driving in car, okay? You are driving by car. So you are accelerating the car. What do you think will be your disturbance, sir? Kushindran?
Sir, the wind resistance, sir, in the going, that's there. The road friction.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. The road friction, wind resistance, all these. See, for example, when you are accelerating in a very ideal condition, okay, the amount of pressure that you will be exerting on that accelerator pedal, which you would have been trained to do that, okay. So if you are pressing it and it's going at 70 kilometers per hour, okay. Suddenly, because of the wind, what happens? For the same amount of pressure you are pressing on that accelerator, the speed may reduce. Okay, so in that case, the controller has to take corrective control action so that you'll be pressing it more to get the required amount of speed. Okay, 70 kilometers per hour if you want to travel. Now it has got reduced to 65 because of the wind. That's a disturbance. So somehow or other, we need to eliminate the effect of disturbances over the system. So a controller should do that effectively. Okay, so disturbance elimination is one of the key properties of any control systems, and I hope you guys can recall that. Okay, can somebody tell me what are the key control objectives of a system? Control objectives.
So one of the major control objective is safety, sir. As we learned that 9 different objectives, safety is one of the major thing.
Yeah.
And then we see the feasibility, we see its production rate.
Yeah.
Quality, profit.
Sir.
Economic viability, sir.
Yeah, somebody else. Yeah, somebody who is that? May I know?
Economic viability, sir. Deepak, sir.
Deepak,
Quality,
yes, very good,
profit.
Deepak. Economic viability. Okay. What do you mean by economic viability, Deepak?
So if you're spending a little bit of money on your system, you should be able to have an equivalent output for it, sir. You should not be able to spend too much for a system that you can run in a very cheap amount, sir.
Okay.
So can I
It's possible.
can
When you
I
are trying to control
interfere,
it.
Kumar?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Deepak refers to the profit, I think, the profit margin, right?
No, not
Deepak-
necessarily, sir. So in cases where we have to spend over 100 liters of fuel to burn something, if we are able to do it in 50 liters, we'll also be saving fossil fuel as well as economic amounts, sir. So both will be working
Okay,
simultaneously,
fine.
sir.
So,
That's good.
apart from that, the main control objective is the safety requirements, environmental safety,
Yeah.
as well as equipment safety. That is the primary objective.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, proceed, Ramkumar sir.
Yeah.
Please
So
proceed.
some of the key points that you need to keep in mind when you are designing any control mechanism is always ask this fundamental question. Okay, what I am trying to control in my process, in my system. Okay, what are all the variables that I am interested in controlling? Number one question. Then how do I control that? What are all the various manipulated variables involved? Okay, in trying to control the system, what are all the other variables involved? So what particular manipulated variable, if I manipulate, it will have an influence or a say over the controlled variable. That you should be in a position to identify. Okay, so then along with that, you should keep posing questions like, what kind of a set point tracking mechanism I'm interested in? Okay, so am I interested in tracking my set point in a very perfect manner, or some kind of error is allowed, some kind of tolerance is allowed? What about the transient response? What about the steady state response? So set point tracking is a key problem when it comes to any control mechanism is concerned. At the same point, you should also ask the question, what kind of disturbances are acting over my system, and how do I eliminate that with the help of my controller? So disturbance elimination and set point tracking, these two are one of the key ideas related to control systems. Along with that, you should also think about something called stability. Okay, so most of you have studied the closed loop systems, transfer functions and all. So you should be in a position to know exactly that by knowing the closed loop poles, where they are located in the S-plane. You should be in a position to imagine the kind of stability, the kind of transient response, the kind of steady state response the system can provide. So this idea is quite important. So when you are going to study back again, going back to your drawing room and going to learn all these things again, try to spend some time on posing this kind of relevant questions. Okay, so what about the location of my poles in my system? So the poles are properly located or not? If it is not properly located, how can I make it to move from that particular position? So these are all something you should study. So that is first unit. You should be in a position to clearly understand where control is done also. So if you look at any chemical process industry, okay, most of the chemical process industries, they extensively employ feedback control mechanisms. So if you look at this particular slide, you can see very clearly that there is a heat exchanging mechanism there. Okay, so you can see that the person who is sitting in a central control room, he'll be controlling or monitoring the entire process. Okay, so sensors, for example, in this case, a measurement will be the temperature of a heat exchanging unit will be measured. And then
so you're
based
breaking
on,
up.
Yeah, now it's connected, I think. All right?
Yes, all right.
Yeah, fine. So I received a call in phone. That's why it's getting disconnected. But all right, now I switched off. Yeah. So now what happens is, so the central computer will be receiving the sensing signal, and based on this input, the controller has to take an appropriate control action. The control room, there will be computers, and there will be PLC-based controllers. Distributed control mechanisms will be there, and that will take a corrective control action, and that will be given to a control valve. And this control valve will adjust the amount of fuel entering into the heating mechanism, and thereby the temperature will be maintained.
Hello,
okay.
Are you
able
to hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, Venkatesh. Venkatesh, can you see the slides? Venkatesh.
Hello. Is it audible?
Venkatesh, can you see the slides? Yeah, is it clear? Slides are clear to you, Venkatesh?
Ramkumar.
Yeah, I'm audible. You are audible to me. Yeah.
Sir, is it audible to you?
Can you see the slides? Yeah, it's audible. Venkataraman, can you see me? Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir, we can see the slides.
Okay, very good. You can hear my voice also. Good. Okay, so now look at this. So we are going to take one simple example to understand the various control objectives. So we are going to take a process called flash separation process. Any one of you in this class, okay, can you recall what we learned in this slide? Can you recall what you learned in this slide? Venkatesh,
able to hear me,
Venkatesh, you are not hearing me. You mute it, Venkatesh. Rest of them are hearing. You mute it. Okay, so now can any one of you in this class can just try to explain what is the flash separation process is all about? Anybody? Just give a try. Yeah.
Sir, so in flash separation process, mostly like for example, petroleum fuels, they have a boiling point at different temperatures.
Excellent debug.
So in the flash, so you can refine multiple different elements by boiling them at separate points, so that when the vapor comes, you can separate them and get the components refined, sir.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so now what happens if you look at this, as he has mentioned clearly, we have for example, two different chemicals mixed together. It may be methanol and water, for example. Methanol boils at, let us imagine, at 70 degrees centigrade, and water at 100 degrees, you know that. So when both are coming here at this particular point, okay, so after two heat exchangers, we're supplying some amount of heat to it. When it comes to this point, the lower boiling point, 70 degrees centigrade, now it's going to get boiled so quickly and it's going to get evaporated. and you will be collecting it as a top product. And the higher boiling point stream, the mixture, is going to be collected as a bottom product. Okay, it's called liquid product, and it's going to be called as vapor product. So you're going to maintain some temperature here, and thereby you'll be separating two different kind of chemicals. So in this process, okay, we are interested in employing the control objectives in this process. So what's the first one? Can you recall this? I hope most of you can recall this. Safety is a key. Okay. So recently, in fact, you might have noticed from the newspaper that in Visakhapatnam, there was a big chemical plant disaster happened recently. Okay,
Yes, sir,
so
gas leak.
Yeah, gas leak. So
And,
safety is a key.
and one more, Ramkumar sir, one more thing.
Yeah.
Very recently in our Tamil Nadu NLC in thermal power station 2, there is a disaster.
Yeah.
Actually, 1 or 2% died in that, 8 injured, and later on
that's
1 or 2 died in that.
Yeah.
So one of our classmates, I think Varsha, she is residing in Neyveli. She asked me a question on the day, what is the reason for that disaster, sir? She asked me on that day. Whether it is a control system failure or something like that, she asked me. And I told that in the class itself, I told that a lot of frequent maintenance is essential. So frequently the plant will be shut down for doing the maintenance. So everything should be done. The control system should be proper. Everything. That's what that may be the reason I told her.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Varsha, are you there?
Varsha?
Varsha, are you there?
Can you just tell me what you have learned?
Okay, fine.
Varsha?
Fine. Okay.
Yeah. So now look at this case. In this case, high pressure in drum is dangerous. Okay. So naturally, we need to measure the pressure. Okay, in the drum, and with the help of a pressure controller, you'll be controlling this ball, and this ball will be adjusted in such a fashion that the required amount of pressure will be maintained within this particular system. So the pressure controller is a control objective is very clear. Safety is ensured. Okay, so it's very important. So pressure controller will take care of safety now. What about environmental protection? So if you look at this case, there will be some flare. There will be this will be emitting some kind of poisonous gases out. So somehow or other we need to maintain that quality of that the pollutant that's going to come out of this. Okay, somehow we need to maintain it. So we'll be transferring this gases that are coming out of this particular flash separator to some other place where we can separate some of this pollutant from it. So you have equipment protection. Okay, so how do we ensure equipment protection? Who can tell that? Equipment protection. What do you mean by equipment protection in this case?
Sir, usually like to prevent corrosion and all, they usually coat it. They do zinc, galvanization, so it can handle at high pressure and heat, sir. And some other stuff like these sensors are used to make sure it doesn't vary from the parameters.
That's excellent, excellent. But the key point is we are thinking of control objectives. Okay, so what you are saying is a design objective. When the process is being designed, okay, they'll be doing all this coating and all those things. But once when the coating is over and the process is designed, the next stage when you are thinking of control mechanisms, here in this case, for example, in this case, if you look at this flash separation process, if the level in the bottom product, okay, if it is going to go down beyond certain limit, some pump may get damaged. Okay, somehow or other, then we need to maintain the level in the bottom product. Okay, so level control is essential here. So that's why we require a level controller here. The level controller will ensure the safety of what? The level controller will ensure the safety of the equipment. Which equipment? Which equipment? Anybody?
Equipment in which the liquid is stored.
No. The equipment pump. Pump is the key. Okay, the pump will get damaged when you are going to operate it with a very low level. Okay, the level is low. There will be the differential pressure. Okay, you'll be getting into a problem. Okay, the pump will be there will be a failure. The pump may get damaged completely because of the low level. So even you can test it in your house also. If you have an overhead tank, when you are going to run the pump without any liquid in the tank, what will happen? Okay, it may get damaged. Heat energy will get accumulated over a period of time. Pump may get damaged. So it is essential for you to maintain the level in the tank. So smooth production rate. Can somebody tell me what is smooth operation production rate? Can you recall? Anybody? Just give a try.
So the process occurs without any hindrance to it, sir. It just continues in a proper flow.
Yeah, smooth. Normally, the final end product is what we are normally interested in. Okay, every day, for example, you are producing some 1,000 liters of a paper product. Imagine. Okay, you should maintain it in a very smooth operational manner. Okay, the production rate should not get disturbed. So for that, somehow or other, you need to maintain the inlet flow rate. Okay, you should keep on feeding the required amount of that combination of chemicals into that separation process in a very continuous manner. Okay, that smooth operation should be ensured because you'll be maintaining the flow rate here. The flow rate can be controlled. So product quality is also important. The final paper product, okay, the liquid product. What's the concentration of it? What is the concentration of the vapor product, for example, methanol? What is the vapor product, liquid product, water? What is the quality of it? Somewhere you need to ensure the product quality also. How do you do it? You measure the quality with the help of a quality measuring sensor and take a corrective control action. Okay. So then we have very high profit. For example, if you are looking for high profit, what do? You can combine, okay, for example, recycle. This is a heat exchanging unit wherein you are using some amount of heat generated from a process fluid. So it's more like a recycling happening here. You can use that process fluid for again heating your feed. So in that case, in fact, you are increasing the profit margin. Okay, energy is related to cost. Cost can be in terms of money. So you can measure the composition and you can take corrective control actions. High profit is another motive for control objectives. Monitoring and diagnosis. You can measure some variables and you can study how the variables are varying with respect to time. And is it going beyond certain limit or within some particular values or they are maintained, or it's going beyond exceeding the limit or not. All these you can check. Okay, so these are some of the 7 control objectives we learned. And again, you can go back to the slides and try to understand. Then we started learning about something called the transfer function models, something called the first order system, transfer function models and all. I hope you can recall back. Okay, so what is that we are interested in? Mathematical model. Can somebody tell me why do you require a transfer function based mathematical model? What we are going to do with that model?
So the mathematical model will serve as the basis
Yeah.
for construction, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Rupa Maitri is there. What about Santosh?
Sir, in order to actually simulate something, we need to know how it works. So we create a mathematical model to make sure that we can have a rough like an estimate on how the system will actually be working. So based on that, we can create a real-time system.
Okay, that's right, Santosh. Very good. But is there some other use for it? Is there? Are you as a control engineer? Okay, as a control engineer, you are looking at that. Okay, model. What do you normally expect? Control engineer, as a design engineer, control design engineer. What do you normally expect for a mathematical engineer? Anybody else? Hello?
Sir, to establish proper set point tracking, sir.
Okay. So with the help of the model, how do you achieve that?
No. See, Sir is asking about
By implementing
what is
controllers,
transfer
sir.
model.
Mathematical model.
In what way it is useful for designing the controller? That's what Sir is asking.
Yeah.
And what it refers to, the transfer function model, it refers to what? That's what Sir is asking. Venkatramanan.
Why do you need a model? Why do we need a model? If you look at
So
the
in order
mathematical,
to have a planned system, we need to have a model, sir, to make sure everything is in order. Because as we have already saw in the control objectives, in order to control, we need to know what we are dealing with, so that we create a model. Using
That's
that model, we can now know the output and input. What are they going to be, and then we can control it. That's where the transfer function.
See, you have to use the correct terms, Sujendran. We need to study the dynamic behavior. Okay, see, we learned about many dynamic behavior. What about transient response, steady state behavior? Okay, so what will happen when time t tends to infinity? What is exactly a final value theorem is all about? So all these you have studied. Okay, so for doing all these, you require a mathematical model. So basically, we are moving away from a differential equation model to a frequency response based, okay, Laplace transformation based model. So we have learned many times, okay, why do we require a Laplace transformation based model instead of a time domain based model? Why do we shift our focus from time domain to frequency domain? Anybody? Is that
so we can analyze big systems easily.
We can
Sir, in
analyze the
time
system
domain, we
condition.
cannot wait for the infinite time to analyze the system, sir. Whereas in frequency domain, we can vary the frequency from 0 to infinity and we can analyze the system.
So even in frequency, you cannot go in for infinite frequencies. Okay. So at a time domain, the key point is, Venkatraman, what you are trying to convey? Please, can you repeat what you said? Time infinity.
We cannot wait for infinite time to see the response of the system, no, sir.
Okay, okay. So steady state behavior analysis, when it comes to time t tends to infinity, will be a problem is what you are trying to convey. Okay. So that's what you want to convey? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, in frequency domain, instead of waiting for t equal to 0, t tending to infinity, we can find s tends to 0, sir. So
That's
which is
final value
easier
theorem.
to...
Final value theorem is what you are saying. Okay. So,
Yes,
but the
sir.
key point that you have to understand, Susindran and everyone, is, see, we are interested in converting a complex differential equations into an algebraic equations. That's the key. Okay. If you look at the transfer function models, the numerator and denominator, they both are algebraic polynomial expressions. But if you look at the differential equation, they are calculus-based complex. Okay, finding solutions for a fifth order differential equation will be much more complex than finding the algebraic solutions for the fifth order polynomial. Okay, so that's why we are going for this kind of a transformation. Number one. Number two, any other point? There is a one-to-one kind of a transformation. Okay, mapping exists between time domain to frequency domain and frequency domain to time domain. So it's always easier to convert a calculus-based differential equation format to algebraic format. And once again, you can come back. Okay, inverse Laplace transformation. That's why you take. Okay, but the key point, why do we require a model is we can give various forcing signals. Okay, you can, without giving different forcing signals to a real-world system, we can give it to a mathematical model, and you can study the response of it quite comfortably. Like some standard signals, the test signals you might have studied. Can you recall some test signals?
So we've got the unit impulse,
yeah,
step, we've got ramp.
Yeah, ramp and sinusoidal. Okay. Yeah, sinusoidal
yes,
types. Yeah, very good. So in fact, impulse signals, if you look at impulse signals, you can generate any signal in the world as a combination of impulse signals. Okay, the convolution you have studied in signal systems, I hope you can recall. Any signal in the world can be decomposed into number of impulses. So by knowing impulse response, it's feasible for us to know the entire behavior of the system comfortably under the linear condition mode. Okay, it's applicable only for linear time invariant systems. So transfer functions, basically they are nothing but impulse responses. Okay, now we also learned about something called the first order systems, wherein we discussed something like a mercury thermometer. Okay, wherein we ended up in an expression something like this. Who can explain this expression? Anybody? Input rate minus output rate is equal to rate of accumulation.
What is the name
What's
of this
happening?
equation?
What is the name of the name of the equation is clear, energy balance equation.
Yeah,
what is that? What is that you are trying to explain here? Just look at this slide quite comfortably, carefully, and tell me what you are seeing here.
So it's the rate of accumulation in a storage tank, sir. So in case of a tank which has an input...
tank, it is not tank. Look at carefully. The previous slide is a thermometer. Okay, it's about. We are not talking in terms of mass balance. We are talking in terms of energy balance. Yeah.
Whatever energy we have supplied in terms of heat is converted to volume.
Expansion of the mercury, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Volume change. Exactly. Good. Venkatraman.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So if you look at this case, what is X here? X indicates the fluid temperature. Okay, you are going to keep your thermometer in a particular fluid, and the fluid temperature is given by X. And what is Y? That's a mercury temperature. Okay, the thermometer temperature it is indicating. It is whatever it is indicating. It's Y. The difference is what the temperature difference is all about. Okay, so the X will be varying. So for example, H is going to be what? The Plym coefficient of heat transfer. So some amount of heat is getting transferred from the fluid to the mercury, which is residing inside a glass bulb. Around the Plym is also been surrounding that glass bulb. So there is a Plym coefficient of heat transfer. Heat is getting transferred from the fluid to the mercury through the Plym coefficient. Okay, and then the mercury is going to absorb the heat. That you call it as the heat capacity of the mercury. And there is something, heat transfer area is there. That is given by the area A. surface area of bulb for heat transfer. And M is, if the mass of the mercury is more, there will be definitely the thermometer readings will be different. Okay, so mass of mercury is also there, and C is going to be the heat capacity of the mercury, and dy by dt is how much the variations in the thermometer is happening because of the input change in temperature. Okay, so this is a fundamental differential equation that stems out of from mass balance equation. Okay, energy balance equation, not mass balance. Energy balance equation. So using this, easily you can build a first order equation, something like this, 1 by tau s plus 1. This is what we learned in the first unit. So you should know how to get a first order differential equation for a thermometer, and then start giving different input signals like A by S, in this case a step signal, and then start studying, okay, how these systems will behave. Okay, for a step input response for a first order system, what kind of a response you'll be getting output? What's the output response you'll be getting? Anybody in the class? What kind of response you'll get for a first order system? If the input is step
exponential systems, exponential response, sir.
Who is that?
Neha, sir.
Neha, very good. So you will be getting an exponential response for a first order system. And the first unit, when you are studying, I've been again and again telling you, first unit you should be comfortable in using Laplace transformation. So spend some time. I have shared some 4 or 5 videos in my Google Classroom for learning Laplace transformation. So spend some time. It may take around 30 to 40 minutes. If you go through those lectures, you can easily understand how you can apply inverse Laplace transformation for different kinds of systems. Okay, it may be a first order or a second order, or a first order with distinct roots, repeated roots, or a combination of the complex conjugate roots and all. Easily you'll be learning that from the videos that I have uploaded in the Google Classroom. Okay, so this you have to learn. Then we have learned something related to a first order single tank system. Okay, most of you will feel comfortable with this expression. What is this expression? It's a mass balance equation. Okay, volumetric flow rate. You can see here. Rho is the density. Okay, Q is the volumetric flow rate. So how do you say this is a mass balance equation? Can somebody explain to me? How do you say this is a mass balance equation? Yeah.
Sir, we are making the amount of water in it constant, sir, in the steady state. So whatever enters in minus whatever leaves out will be the water remaining in the tank. So this is how the mass is remain constant.
Okay, very good, excellent. So the key point is here is the volumetric flow rate. The rho is the density. Density is mass per unit volume. Okay, mass per unit volume multiplied by volumetric flow rate. What do you get? You get the masses. Okay, so you can clearly see Qt minus Q naught T A dH by dt is going to, you'll be getting this expression. So if you look at the next slide, you can clearly see the difference between two different systems. In fact, we have discussed extensively about this particular system in our classroom. Okay, so a first order single tank system with the output connected to a pump. What's the difference? Anybody give an answer? What is the difference between a single tank system connected with a pump at outlet, without a pump at outlet? What will happen?
Sir, if pump is connected, output flow rate is constant.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, good. You are now recalling. I hope most of you are recalling what we have learned in the classroom. Okay, so then the difference equation, the Laplace transfer function equation will be completely different. 1 by AS, you will be getting it here. Here you will be getting R by tau s plus 1. If I say 1 by AS, what do you infer from this particular transfer function? 1 by S is what?
Integration.
1 by AS.
Integrating system.
It's an integrating system. Excellent. Okay, so it's an integrating system. That's what we learned. And so you should also learn something about the inverse Laplace transformation in the first unit. Spend some time on it. Okay, you should know how to apply the partial fractions approach and should get the final results. Okay, in the time domain. So we have some Laplace transform review section also. So I have uploaded some slides in my Google Classroom. You can open that slides along with the video lectures. You can see the Laplace transform review sections and see here we have a 5 by s plus 2. Okay, it's more like exponential signal. It is e power minus at form. So, okay, so if I give, if you again convert it into a, what do you call, time domain expression after giving a step input signal of 5, clearly you can see what's the response you'll be getting. Okay, so for that, the same manner you can look at it. You look at a sine, exponentially decaying sine, an exponentially decaying cosine waveform. Okay, along with that, an exponential signal coupled with a step signal and two different exponential signals. All these you can get a feel of it, okay, by going through again, spend some 30-40 minutes on this area. That will help you to solve problems quite comfortably. Okay, so you'll be in a position to solve problems quite comfortably by going through this Laplace transformation thoroughly. Okay, so see, try to go through this slide also. This particular slide gives you a feel of what kind of responses you may get. For a first order system, if I apply a step signal, what will be the response? If I apply an impulse signal, what will be the response? If I apply a ramp, how the response will look like? Some standard signals, step signals, impulse, ramp, and sinusoid you give, and study how the responses, output responses vary. So we also learned something like a mixing process. Again, here in this case, we employ the Moss balance equation for the mixing process, and you end up in a first order process. The same manner heating process. Okay, what do you do in heating process? Can somebody explain this slide? Just give it a try. Anybody? From the girls' side, anybody just open up and try to give your views about the heating process. What is the kind of insight you have about the heating process? What kind of insights you have from this equation? What you are seeing here, first of all? Girls' side? Shabarish, I think you can see, I can see you. Can you tell me what is the heating process? This particular slide?
So,
yeah. Shabarish, are you there?
Yes,
Your
sir.
voice is
Yes.
not clear. Yeah, Shabarish.
Hello.
So this is rate of energy flow into the tank. Okay. So if
Yes,
you look
sir.
at this case, if you read this carefully, the tank is well mixed. Okay, and the temperature of the exiting stream is T. Okay. Now you are supplying some additional heat energy using steam or electricity that is given by Q. What is the C indicates? Can you recall what is the C? C indicates the specific heat capacity of that particular
Constant.
fluid. Okay, specific heat capacity. Okay, so that you should know. So W is the flow rate. Okay, volumetric flow rate here in this case. Okay, the flow rate to the tank is constant at W, not volumetric, it's mass flow rate, W. Okay, so then this is a temperature difference. So if you know this is the amount of heat energy you have supplied, Q, and this is the difference. And the rate of accumulation of energy in the tank is given by this expression. And you ended up in a first order differential equation. And you should know the time constant for all these four processes. Number 1, thermometer. Number 2, liquid level process. Number 3, mixing process. Number 4, heating process. If you learn how to write differential equations for these four systems, along with non-interacting and interacting tank systems, okay, you are through. The first unit is completely over. You will be in a position to solve problems along with the Laplace transformation. Spend some time on the Laplace transformation. You will be in a position to work out problems quite comfortably when it comes to interacting and non-interacting tank. We spent a lot of time on interacting and non-interacting tanks when it comes to derivation and problem solving in the class. Venkatesh, you agree?
Yeah, we have worked out a lot of numerical examples, both in the first order system as well as the second order interacting as well as non-interacting system. Am I right, Venkatramanan? Venkatramanan and any other people, Varsha, can you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you just go through that. I hope you are having your class notes with you. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
I have uploaded all the slides as well as books in the Google Classroom.
Otherwise,
you can use the books.
Solution manual is also being uploaded in the Google Classroom. Are you able to see that? The Kapner complete solution manual is being uploaded in the Google Classroom. You can go through it also. If you don't have it right now with you, you can go through that. Okay. Right?
Okay, now is the question session starts. Okay. So those who are interested in posing questions can start posing questions now. Maybe another 5-10 minutes we'll take some questions.
So,
Yeah.
hello. So,
Yes, I can hear you.
it's not a doubt on the subject as such, but on the system that we are following. We got a survey from college to do whether we checked it as writing from my exam center or writing at home. So, have you got any information on how the exam's going to be?
Something the management of Shastra University right now they are deliberating upon it. Okay, so they will come up with a very proper plan, a foolproof plan. Okay, in conducting this examination in another couple of days, I believe. Okay, so you wait for that day, and it will be announced on the website with the appropriate instructions to be followed and all. So I think we can wait. Okay, I'm not sure about that exactly right now. Okay, but I have heard that you have given your comments, but it has to be deliberated by the management. The deans, associate deans, they'll be discussing with the vice chancellor about the feasibility of conducting this kind of examinations, and then they will come up with a foolproof plan in another couple of days. Then you'll be knowing that. Okay, Sushindran, it's all right. All right, Sushindran.
Yes, sir. Sir, also my other question is like. Most of, I mean, I don't know about most of the other students, but my notes of all these subjects are back in hostel because they asked us to leave early. So, how is there a way we'll go back to hostel to get the notes, or we are only going to stay?
For my subject, in fact, notes are not required. Process control, I have uploaded the slides, books, everything on the. We can do one thing. Okay. I believe that visiting hostel, okay, under these circumstances, it's not feasible at least for another 10-15 days. Okay, so you need to manage with the online materials, video lectures, as well as some of the books, as well as the notes, slides that are available on the Google Classroom, and try to utilize this to the level best. And I don't think it will be required, because once you understand the basic fundamental grasp of the subject, we can easily work out, because the solution manual is also there for many of the subjects. Online it is available. So do you require notes? You can prepare your own notes now. What's Sushindran?
Okay,
right now
sir.
it's not feasible, I think. Because it's very difficult trying times we are living now. Okay, in COVID times, it's very difficult to go to hostel. Okay, I don't think the university will permit it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other subject-related questions?
I do have a doubt,
what is
but
your,
it's not regarding subject, sir.
Yeah, please. Sri Krishna, yeah, please, welcome. Yeah.
So on a rare case scenario, if they are conducting examinations in examination center, will that be online or offline, sir? Because they can't call faculties for invigilating it. So what will be the scenario of whether it will be online or offline?
Sri Krishna, let me tell you the answer. Actually, it is not being decided yet. Okay, once it has been decided, so you will be intimated. Okay, don't worry about the exam. You just go through the notes and other. You just try to learn yourself. Okay, in other ways also productively use your vacation. Okay, don't bother about how this can be written, whether it is online, offline. This kind of questions, don't think about all these things. Okay, the management is thinking on that, working on that. They will be coming up with a very good solution. So don't worry about that. Okay, it will be all right. Okay, don't think about all these things. Okay, productively.
I can understand your feelings, Krishna. It's always it is a little anxious. Okay, we are all anxious. We don't know what is going to happen next. It is uncertain times. But we need to come out of it with a very positive outlook. Okay, whatever be it, we'll face it. Okay, whatever be it, we'll face it. We'll come out with positive feelings. That's what I believe. Uncertain times are always there. We are always anxious about all this. What's going to happen next? So I can understand what kind of examinations we are going to take, and all these are quite little, create some kind of anxiety in students' end. But still, we have to come out. We are in the third year, and we should face it boldly and come out of it. Okay, Sri Krishna. Let us face it. Okay, whatever be it, we'll face it.
So, like we had this video session for the first unit.
Yeah.
Could we have for the remaining 3 units
Exactly,
also, sir?
exactly.
Like summarize.
Yeah, Thursday,
Definitely.
Venkatesh sir will be presenting the second unit, and by next week, Monday, I will be presenting the third unit, and finally by Friday, again next week, Thursday, Venkatesh will be handling the final unit. Okay, all 4 units will be covered, and we'll be sharing the slides, and we'll be having some kind of open discussion forums. You can type your questions on the forum, and you can type your questions.
Yeah, that is what really important. Actually, if you post questions, it will be live, it will be interactive. Okay, so we have covered a lot of things in the first 3 units as well as 4th unit also. Okay, so instead of talking only one-way communication, if it is a 2-way communication like interaction, it will be better. Okay.
Okay.
Am I right, Suchindran? Who asked the
Yes, sir.
question?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Balu sir has joined the meet. Balu sir, give your comment. You are there in the meeting, yeah? Balu sir.
Balu?
Wait there.
Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, Balu sir.
Yeah, you are there. Right?
Say hi to our students.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, students.
Balu sir in the meeting.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Good morning, sir.
Very good.
Good morning. Good morning. Sam, how is the class?
Yeah, I have finished taking my lecture. Time is 11. We'll stop this. Okay.
Super.
Any
Okay.
other questions also welcome. Okay, I think you
You
will
can
have
post your questions on the forum. You can post your questions on the forum. I'll stop now. Thank you all very much.
recorded video will be shared with us.
Yes, it will be shared.
Yeah. The link will be shared. It will be stored in the Google Drive from Kumar sir. So he will share the link.
Share the link. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.